Uh-huh, honey.
Hey friends, so today I have Kendall with me. We went to high school together back in the day. I make myself sound really old, but it's only been a couple years. Today I'm going to start my story series. So basically I'm going around and asking different people about their experiences and just what they've learned from their experiences and how they can help others with what they've been through. So today Kendall's going to talk to us about some publishing stories that she has. So I'll let you go ahead and just explain what happened and your situation.
Yeah, so I'm really into creative writing and reading since I was a kid. And then when I was about 14, I'm like, oh, I should write a book because I was 14 and I had the free time and motivation to write a book. I did. I finished my book and it was just a little young adult fiction thing. Cute story, you'd like it if you were 14. Then I was like, oh, I should take it to the next step. Let's get it published, because that would be fun to hold a copy of my own book. That was kind of the dream at the time.
That is the dream, yeah.
I was 14, so I didn't know what to do, so I went online and I was like, list of publishers looking to publish young adult or something to that extent, and each one I sent my whatever they wanted. Some wanted like manuscripts and some just wanted like 3 chapters and some wanted a synopsis. Everything was just slightly different, so it was like tedious work. But I think I sent to like 21 different houses in the end.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
2 got back to me and said that they wanted the full manuscript because that's kind of the next step is you send them a few chapters and then if they like it they'll read more.
Right.
So I sent it back to them. And meanwhile, this was kind of over the summer. Before grade 10, I was starting to hear back from all these other ones that were telling me no. Finally, I heard back from the 2 that I had sent my full manuscript. One was no longer interested, but the one was like, yeah, we want to sign you for publication.
Wow.
So that was exciting.
Yeah.
I remember getting that email. It was like a great day.
Oh, for sure.
So I did my research on the company or whatever because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was getting into, and like we got sent the contract and we went over it with a lawyer. He was really nice. He said he'd do it for free if he could get a copy of the book when it came out.
Oh, that's not nice.
It was really sweet. Eventually, after like months of kind of back and forth, we had all these questions. We decided to sign the contract. This was probably in like the fall or winter of grade 10 by the time I like signed this contract and sent it in. The next step would be for me to get assigned an editor, which never happened for like a while. Like months would go by and I wouldn't hear anything. So every few months I would email the woman who I had been in contact with, the CEO. So at this time I was signed under Eternal Press and the CEO's name, her name was Kim Gilchrist. I want to like name drop these people.
Yeah, you gotta.
So she would always be like, oh, just be patient, we've got a lot going on. And I'm like, hey, but like at this point it's been like 6 months and then it's a year. Eventually, I hadn't heard anything from a while, so I'm like, oh, time to do my like 3-month check-in. I emailed to check in and the email bounced back. It's like, oh, this email address no longer exists. And I'm
No
like, wait,
way.
what?
That's sketchy.
Yeah, so I was pretty freaked out. So I emailed the woman who sent me who was originally dealing with my manuscript before I was signed.
Right.
And I asked her what was going on and she's like, oh, we got sold to a different company like a few months ago. Nobody told you.
That's unprofessional.
Yeah, so I was really ticked off that I hadn't been told, but I was also like, maybe this is a chance to actually get something happening. Because at this point, I think this is like end of grade 11 and nothing's happened at all. This new company, Caliburn Press, I thought they were going to be my saving grace here, per se. Then I was kind of working with the CEO whose name was Alan Lennon, and he was like, oh yeah, like your manuscript just never got sent over with the switch, but like I'll send you a contract, we'll get you signed. So like that was all fine and dandy. Didn't hear from them for a few months, so I emailed him and then he was like, oh, we lost your contract, we'll send over another one. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Super professional.
At this point, I'm like, I just want the book. I don't care about anything.
Yeah. Well, they've strung you along for how long at that point? Like,
yeah, I know. I'm like, I just want this out before I graduate, which seemed like a reasonable thing when I was 15, but now I'm 17 and getting a bit concerned. So then I finally get assigned an editor right before grade 12 graduation. I remember it was like the day before I went to Cuba with Emma. No, this was right after grade 12 graduation. So I graduated and I finally got assigned an editor, which is supposed to be the first step. So it gets edited, I send it back, and then basically the next step is someone edits it again, then it gets formatted, and then it should be up. So realistically, I should be in the end stretch. I don't hear anything for a while, but meanwhile, we've got kind of this email chain of all the authors signed under Caliburn Press, so there's like, so we can all get the same updates and whatnot, so that at least was better than before. And so around Christmas time in my first year of university, so last year, we get an email and he's like, okay, this is the queue of what's next. And my book was third. So mine was third in the queue to be formatted, and then it was supposed to be released.
Okay.
So I was like, thank God.
Yeah, then you'd get excited.
I was so excited. Plus, until that point, they'd never released a queue. Everybody asks for a queue. And they're like, oh, we can't guarantee anything. Such an exciting thing. And then I continued to not hear back for a very long time, and I'm like, oh, this is happening again. So finally, last fall, I kind of snapped and I sent them an email, and it wasn't like super friendly, but it wasn't like mean. I was basically just like, I have been here since I was 14. I'm almost 20 now. Can you just publish my book? Like, come on.
It's like, yeah. No, you'd be frustrated at that point. That's like...
Oh, yeah. I was just mad. I wasn't even excited about the book as much anymore because I'm like, this isn't my best work. Like... Well, yeah, it could be so much better if I had written it now.
That's it. You've grown so much because you go from 14 to 19. It's like...
Yeah, I wanted my name to be attached to something that I felt like kind of represented me when it was released, and it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But I was stubborn, so I was sticking my feet in, and I'm like, publish it.
Yeah, just like...
And then a month later, he emailed me back, and he's like, yeah, you can have your rights back. And I was like, oh, I didn't want them back, so... After like 4 years, he was finally like, yeah, we're not going to publish you.
What?
Yeah, I was super sad, but I was also kind of just relieved to have an answer, I guess.
Well, yeah. Yeah, sometimes in life, honestly, just having an answer, even if it's not the one you want, is like calming.
Yeah. I was like, at least like it's mine now. I'm not contractually obligated to these people who don't really like care about what they're doing.
Well, that's it. They don't seem to have a lot of respect for their workers, from what I can tell.
Yeah, it was just shockingly unprofessional. They always had these excuses as to why things were going wrong, and I'm like, okay, but you are a professional company.
Yeah.
But a month ago, we got one last email, and they're like, yeah, we're going out of business, and I can't say I was too sad to hear that.
What a surprise.
Yeah. It shouldn't have been as difficult as it was, but it was a nightmare.
Well, yeah, they're stringing you along, not keeping you informed. It seemed like nobody was organized.
Yeah, it would have been easier if when the company got sold, if he was just like, you know what, we don't have your manuscript and we don't want it.
Yeah.
And I'd be disappointed, very much so, but at least I would have known, like, in grade 11 instead of, like, a couple months ago.
So was there a specific moment when you knew something was wrong?
Honestly, I was pretty sketched out with the first company in general, back when I was still under Eternal Press. And I remember I was like 15, and I thought it was weird how little they were communicating with me. And so I went on Tumblr, and there's this author that wrote this young adult series who was very active on Tumblr at the time. Lauren DiStefano, I believe her name is. And I like slid into her Tumblr DMs, and I was like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm a fan, this is my situation, is this normal? And she was like, that's not normal.
So that's kind of red flag there.
So it's a red flag, but I at this point I was already under contract, and I was like, you know what, they'll publish it eventually. Maybe next year, like 15 or 16, that's not bad, still a teenage author.
Well, that's it, that's still something to be proud of. Oh, that's so disappointing.
No, I mean, I'm still proud of the book, and like, I don't think I'm done with it. Like, I think maybe in like 5 years, I'll go back and I'll edit it and like fix it, and then I'll retry.
Yeah.
I'm still too like bitter about it right now. So
yeah, you're like,
that'll be a 5-year project.
Yeah, a couple years to cool off. I mean, you're still young. Like publishing a book in your 20s would still be pretty.
Yeah, and I'm working on like new content. It's taking forever because, well, now I don't have the luxury of free time to write.
That's
so
the
it's
problem.
Like,
yeah.
I've been working on this new book for like a year, and I have like 7 chapters. It's slow going, but I think it's going to be so good. Yeah, I think when I finally do get a book out there, I want it to be really awesome, so that way I can kind of be like, screw you, Caliburn Press.
Exactly.
You
could have had me.
I'm doing like short stories and poems and stuff.
There you go.
Like, I am getting small publications, but nothing quite as big as a whole book.
A whole book.
So I'll get there someday. I'm working my way up organically, like normal people do.
Well, that's good. Yeah, see, now that you're older, you can have like the big goal and then maybe smaller goals like get published in a magazine or in a collection.
While you're young, it's just supposed to be about getting your name out there and getting experience.
Yeah.
Like, nobody expects you to do anything remarkable in your teens or even in your 20s. Like,
some of us have dreams and we're like, we can do it.
Yeah.
Do you have advice for other young authors?
Absolutely. I don't want anything I said to like deter people from wanting to get published, because it's really obtainable.
Right.
If you have a book, though, my advice would be to get an agent. I didn't have an agent. And if I had an agent, my agent probably would have been like, hey, Kendall, don't do this.
Yeah. Red flags all over. But
exactly. And applying for an agent is really the same way as like sending in your manuscript. You're like, this is what I have. Do you want to represent me?
Okay.
And so once they do, they take care of all the hard stuff. When I was young, I thought an agent was just for if you wanted to get into the big publication houses, and I'm like, well, I don't need like HarperCollins publishing me. I just want to get out there, so I thought I didn't need an agent, and I was wrong. You can still do it without an agent. It's just like, if you're young, they have the expertise that you don't. If you don't get published, they don't get paid, so your agent really has to believe in you too.
That's it.
My other advice is to just be really persistent with it, because I have so many rejections. I keep them in a nice little folder in my email to like fuel my motivation fire.
Yeah.
Because it's not even a matter of your writing sometimes. Like, different people are looking for different things, and it could be the most minor reason that you don't get accepted. But eventually someone is going to like what you've put out enough that they're going to be like, we want this in our work. And it's going to feel really great, but you have to put out so much before that happens.
That's it.
And it's just a reality of the field. Like, no creative field is ever easy.
You got that right.
Never give up.
So any last words?
Yeah, I'm upset what happened with the publishers, but like, I'm still writing, so I'm not that upset.
That's it. It didn't break you completely. And
exactly.
everything happens for a reason, I hope, because I have the tattoo.
Oh,
so
that's so nice. I love that.
Thank you. So that's what I always say to motivate me. Well, thank you so much for filming with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, yeah, anytime.